G'day there guys, Jade here, just bringing you a video about my 1.2 ton excavator. This is the big girl here, so 1.2 tons of power, Chinese made digger. So I'm going to give you a review of the machine. So it has done 100 hours, just about to click over 100 hours. It'll click over 100 hours next week on a job. So this is now 3 years old, so I don't use it a lot. Most jobs last about 2 hours each when I am using it on site for my landscaping and synthetic turf business. But let's go over it and I'll give you my honest opinion on the machine, how it's performed, whether or not you should buy one. All of those questions will be answered in this video. So let's start here at the back of the machine. So as you can see, it's a bit ratty because we sort of use it and dump it in our shed and, you know, move on. But basically we're starting here. So let's have a look at our controls here. So as you can see, it's done 99.2 hours in there. Oh no, yeah, 99.2. So rightio, I'll show you a couple of problems that I've had with it, and we'll go from there. So the first thing that went wrong is this little compartment in here to operate your throttle totally failed. So this little notch here was disintegrated and stopped working. So I had to have a mechanic rebuild this whole system in here so that little claw can grab. So previously it wasn't grabbing, so it would get to there and then it would just slip off. So I actually had a clamp, as you can see this paint's gone, I had a clamp holding the throttle on. So that's one thing. The next thing is the caps. See these plastic caps? They just don't hold anymore. They do not hold anymore. So they loosen. So I'm presuming some of the plastic that was used to build some of these components were a bit weak and soft, and it just doesn't hold. So I've had to obviously use that tape to hold that into place, and it also looks like I'm a little bit low on water, so I'm going to fill that up shortly. And the same thing with the fuel cap, it just doesn't fit anymore, so it just doesn't screw. It just screws and then doesn't screw anymore. So like you can see, I've got a little bit of tape holding that in. Had a couple of problems with the starter motor and the way that the battery charges. It hasn't failed truly on me to have to replace anything, but there's been a few times, I think there's been 3 times. Yes, Jack. I'll be there in a minute, big fella. There's 3 occasions where I've had to jump start the engine because it just wouldn't turn over and click into gear. And as you can see, as I've gone into to get the battery out, this has just dropped and failed. It's just not like it was at the start. So there's that one. You know, a little bit of wear and tear on there, but that's pretty normal. Not too bad in there. So mechanically, it's performed quite well. There's just been a couple of times where it just wouldn't fire, and it's, yeah, whether it's a battery charging issue, I'm not sure, but jumper leads, get the machine going, and then it didn't fail again. So random one. Then we keep pushing through here. Tracks have been good. No dramas at all with the tracks. I rolled one track and had to put that back on. So no problems there at all. Then we keep pushing around this boom. I'm just trying to think, has there been any problems through here? I think not. This is all pretty straightforward. The hitch, no trouble with it, but it is slow and it takes a fair bit of time to change a bucket because you've got to pop that one there out and then you've got to unscrew that and then obviously do the reverse when you're putting the new bucket on. But I've just greased the machine, as you can see, a fair bit of grease floating around. Keep pushing around here. The blade, no trouble with the blade, that's been operating quite well. Just stand back there, Jackie boy. No, don't touch that, Jack. Haven't had to use the fire extinguisher, that's a positive. We're going to fire this up just so you can hear it. And there's one more thing that has gone wrong with this machine in my 100 hours. Just going to pop this down, Jack. Okay. Stand back, mate. Yeah. Just like that. So let's crank it up. So normally give it a few revs and give it a bit of a glow. The machine has been operating today, so don't touch that, Jack. Just stand back, please. I want you to stand back. Stand back. Good man. It has been operating today, so it will fire and sound pretty good. There you go. I'll just jump on it for 20 seconds and show you how she is running and whatnot. I'm coming. As you can see, it's pretty, yeah, jumps in, gets it going pretty quick. Tracking is very slow. I will say the tracks are quite slow in comparison to bigger machines, which is probably pretty normal. Getting the roof on and off, pretty straightforward, just a couple of bolts here. It's a bit rattly. As you can see, I've hit a carport, I think, at some point, which that's why it's there, I suppose. So probably 60% of the time we've got the roof off, I reckon. And then the rest of the time we'll get it back on when we can. Certainly is a pretty tight little machine when that cab's off. Does make life a bit easier getting into different sites. So overall pretty good. And there's just one more thing I wanted to show you with the auger. So if you're looking to buy one of these machines and expecting or wanting to auger with them, I'd probably think again, because it doesn't do a very good job. So the power that you've got to push down with the hydraulics is minimal on a machine of this size and of this quality. So then the other thing is, keep in mind, I actually have done quite a few holes. I've probably done 30 to 40 holes in the 3 years. But the other day, this auger totally failed here. So it just completely snapped at this point here. So as you can see, my mechanic has had to re-weld and re-engineer all of this so it's a tighter fit. So it's a bit sloppy, and that was causing it to break and then eventually shatter, and then it was cut into two pieces. So he's fixed that up. So as you can hear by some of the things I've talked about, there's been quite a few mechanic trips required to keep this thing on the road and operating. But rightio, so my honest opinion is, if you're going to operate it as much as I do, so probably once every fortnight or thereabouts for a smaller period of time, I'd definitely recommend it. But if you're buying a machine like this to do bulk hours and operate it daily, I would not buy one of these machines. So I'd be going for the Kubota in the same size range, and that'll give you a lot better longevity and hopefully less trips to the mechanic to repair those tiny little niggly things. So they're not major, but they're worthy of a trip to the mechanic to keep you operating. So that's my honest opinion. So if it's a homeowner doing bits and pieces around their farm or large property, definitely go and buy one, and you're getting good value for money. I looked at it this way the other day. If I was to hire a machine like this on a daily rate, it would cost me about $300 plus me going to get the machine and then returning it at the end of the day. So it's probably equates to about a $450 cost per day, and I reckon with the 100 hours that I've done, that's probably 50 days. So let's say 50 days times 40, $450. It's over $20,000, which is about what I paid for the machine. So I paid $21,900 for this machine. So yeah, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep driving. I'm going to keep operating it, and it's paid for itself. It's saved us a hell of a lot of muscle, because doing some of the jobs that we've done in the last 3 years without this thing, it's unreal. So definitely save you some legs, that's for sure. And then and loading the truck with it, so it's just too short. It's just okay for my truck over there if I've got the side down, but yeah, you are spilling some material. So if you've got a smaller truck to load with, I reckon that's the go. So overall, pretty happy with it. Like I said, if you're going to use it daily, maybe have a look at a higher quality machine that's going to give you less grief on some of those niggly things. Anyway, I'm going. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and we'll do plenty more videos on the Chinese 1.2 ton excavator. See ya!